Hey neighbor, welcome back to the channel. It's time for a review of the 6th album, Negative Spaces by Poppy. It's wild that Poppy already has 6 EPs and 6 full studio albums under her belt. She doesn't slow down, and I love that in this tightrope she seems to have tried to walk between pop and metal music. Somewhere in that marriage, she is getting it right, and I think on Negative Spaces, that's more apparent than ever. This record is produced by Jordan Fish, a former Bring Me the Horizon member who did synths, programming, production, kind of a wizard of many hats, if you will, and him pulling out all the stops for production for Poppy. It's a match made in heaven, and I honestly feel like these songs wouldn't have that breath of life they need to truly explode if he wasn't a part of the project. Between Stephen Harrison, Jordan Fish, and Poppy herself, the production on this album is a love letter to bands from the early 2000s, the nu metal scene, but also 90s techno. There's electronic music, underground beats, things that are combining together that definitely do feel a little derivative if you look at it at surface level. But I think the way it's done, it has enough vitality in the fresh angle that they approach it with to justify its existence. Tracks like The Center's Falling Out showcase a vicious Poppy who's come a long way vocally. Her screams on this album and on some of her recent features, Hello showing up on Bad Omens, not to mention Knocked Loose, Jordan definitely helps bring out some of Poppy's best vocal performances. And I don't necessarily know if this album has her best track yet, but as a body of work, it might be her strongest statement for who she is, defining whoever Poppy might be at this point in her career. I've been rooting for Poppy's music for a long time, and I think I Disagree in 2020 was the closest I got to really loving one of her albums, but with repeat listens, Negative Spaces is kind of shaking itself into my subconscious, and I'm really able to feel the way that they locked in, and there's some visceral emotion lining the walls, like I said, at times letting the mask slip, but still having the character of Poppy to kind of hide behind, for lack of a better phrase. It's not that Negative Spaces has no requiem for emotion, it's just relatable in the sense that there's always the aversions that come our way that make us want to run, and do we go into that darkness where fear lingers, or do we run back towards the light and something like A New Way Out? I had heard the song that I just referenced, I think that was the first single from this album, but it didn't necessarily catch me. I don't think I saved it right away or anything, but when I heard They're All Around Us, and with that little call out at the beginning, Coward? Okay, Poppy, I'm on board, I'm listening. It's a booming, authoritative track that pulses with the vampiric energy that I love to see when Poppy really sinks her teeth in. It almost feels like an old school Poppy video where they're warning us of something, but it's under the guise of satire, except Tomorrow is a little bit more direct with its commentary. Tomorrow, I'll change. Tomorrow, I'm gonna make sure this happens. I could definitely understand the complaint that the album feels a little unfocused. For me, it's not so much a problem as it is really something to scratch an itch for my ADHD, which kind of appreciates that change. Like Crystallized, for example. That's more of a synth pop track that definitely leans into that Jordan Fish Bring Me the Horizon energy, and it's interesting to see how both his ex-band Bring Me the Horizon and Poppy herself are doing better Linkin Park imitations than Linkin Park themselves in the year 2024. Shift and twist, push back again. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. New Way Out has a very similar vocal melody to Points of Authority by Linkin Park, and it's just one of a good handful of examples you could point to on Negative Spaces and say, that sounds like something else. Personally, I think she was able to switch lanes often enough with tracks like Halo, which really kind of took my breath away with kind of a ballad at the end of the album going out on a very powerful and sentimental note, and also a track like Push Go that sounds like it could have been on a NASCAR Thunder soundtrack, and that's not a complaint. I'm just saying, let me loose on a go-kart track and blast Push Go by Poppy, and I'm a happy man. Certain moments like the cost of getting up play it a little bit too formulaic for my liking, and I think a track like Vital could have used a little bit more of a certain X factor to really send it over the edge, because as it stands, it feels a bit stale. I don't know, am I being cynical by saying that it kind of sounds like something Hilary Duff would have sung in 2004 as Lizzie McGuire? Let the rain fall down and wake my dreams. Overall, really solid listen. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late on the review, but I'm going to give this a light 4 out of 5. What did you guys think of Negative Spaces by Poppy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. This was just my opinion. Be sure to hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can check out some recent videos on screen now, including another Poppy review, and I'll see you next time on ARTV.